money is not enough for human being. Science is not enough for human being. That joy, that celebration, that peak life for common people. Once we get the glimpse that even in the middle of all this chaos of life, I can access myself. Transformation is not a point. It is a process. And there is no end point.
Welcome to Soma, the art and science of somatic living, a podcast exploring life through the intelligence of the body.
Dr. Javasi, you talk about how Soma path is different from other traditions and other various paths, and how is that?
Yeah, and actually, I emphasize on that. And why I state that, because 21st century, or even before that, it's a century of materialism. We are living in era of materialistic philosophies, teaching. And that particularly became strong around 200 years ago, after the Industrial Revolution and rise of the science. So if you really look at our current world, what forces are dominating? Number one force is scientific materialism. Science is everywhere in all parts of the world. And science is connected to matter and energy. They don't believe in God, spirit, soul, other world. That was a part of the many old traditions. That is scientific materialism. It's a fact. And it is going to grow. It is not going to diminish. That is why in the younger generation, a lot of people are leaving old ways of thinking. That is one part. Second part of the materialism is economic materialism. First and foremost, desire of individuals all over the world is what? To become wealthy, opulent, to have enough for comfort and pleasure. That is why economy became the supreme force everywhere in the world. Whatever is going on in the world now, in last few months or years, is all about economy. Whosoever is wealthy is the West. And then they can dictate rest of the world. So all wars are fought through economy, not direct wars. Of course, there are direct wars, but other wars which are going on. So we are living in this era, age of materialism. So if I bring all those philosophies, traditions, systems, the religion from the past, they are not making a whole lot of sense. Still there are followers, some of them sincere.
And they may be relevant in certain conditions.
Exactly, they are therapeutic.
Yeah.
But here we are talking about transformative power of those philosophies, systems, and traditions. Their relevance is diminishing because people don't believe in them. Because they belong to a certain era. So how Soma path is relevant in this age and era? Because Soma path says that you can make a door, you can open the door into this materialism and reach the same goal where all other systems of the past were trying to reach. Happiness, liberation, self-realization, reaching the peak of life, realizing your whole potential. Because if I preach anti-materialism, it may attract a small percentage of people. Because I suppose say, no, I want to be the part of this fun and excitement and this technology. And I'm an individual, so I'm not going to listen to those things. So that is what Soma path is. And as we define Soma path, is a body and science-based. So if you really look into many systems of the past, for them the body is very secondary. It is a spirit, it is a soul, it is some consciousness, it's divine, it's the God, whatever you call. For them, the body was just an instrument.
Not about the matter.
Yes.
Beyond matter.
Beyond matter. Always beyond matter. Going into spirit. We say, no. This body, this matter, this science has actually can become instrument, the gate, the door to that say what they achieved. So for us, body is nearly not the body of the desire and flesh and bones. It contains literally 3 cosmic forces. Those 3 forces meet in the body. The force of matter, what you can see, force of energy, life energy, which is flowing, which keeps me alive, and consciousness, each cell is conscious. So you can see that body, which is material body, was completely misinterpreted, not only by the science, but even other traditions. So Soma path is saying, body and science-based. Because without bringing science, and science means external science, which we prove in laboratory, and internal science of self-reflection, interoception, self-inquiry, critical questioning, not faith or belief. Because unless we do it, people will wander away completely from the past, and there won't be anything new for them to be supported. Because it is very true, money is not enough for human being. Science is not enough for human being. Confined to the body is not enough for human being. So we have to find the path through this science and body. That is what Soma path is all about. So we take it in the broad term of somatic. Because this body, so when we call it Soma, why we call it Soma? Because Soma in Greek is for body, and Soma in Sanskrit in India is for elixir of life. So this body, this material body, contains the essence of life. Because in Soma path, matter is one of the color on the spectrum of truth. It is not separated. So for us, there is no gap between here is material body and here is a spirit. Not at all. It's a spectrum. So there is a material body, then there is emotional and feelings, then there is an intellect, and then there is a higher level of integration. But there is a continuity, unbroken continuity. So rather than approaching from there, which people are not accepting, we are approaching from the very bottom, the body.
Hey everyone, it's Matt from the podcast. If you're enjoying this conversation and you want to go deeper, Soma Path offers different classes, courses, and trainings that will help you actually experience what we're talking about, and they're accessible to all. Everything can be found through the link in the description, and from time to time, we do offer free programs and trainings there. So if this is resonating with you, that would be your next step.
Let's define you using materialism then, because people have this view, especially of yoga and materialistic, and we we don't need all these things and we need less in our life. But you're not speaking that we need more, like we need an over and abundance. Like materialism doesn't, we're not talking about that when we talk about this in Soma.
No.
It's more, what are we wanting to focus on with materialism? Like, let's talk about that in our life. What does that look like?
That's right. So what we are talking is scientific materialism, because science believe in matter and energy, and we say this is perfectly okay because for us matter and energy is the expression and manifestation of the same truth, because it contains the same essence. And economic materialism, we say that everybody wants to be, affluent because they want pleasure, and we won't say that you can leave it because nobody is going to leave it. It's a fact, except a very small percentage of people. We will say that the way you are living in the world, with your family and job, actually you can reach your highest potential. And once we give them the idea that you need not to withdraw into 5 years of seclusion or going for 2 years of retreat or become a monk, that you can do it in your daily life, what will happen? If they start following, they will realize very soon that what they were chasing, actually, it is not needed. Because why they were chasing? In order to get some satisfaction and pleasure. Now the part of the same pleasure, if it is coming from inside, what will happen to that person? The demand for excess of wealth, desire for more consumption, more habit, more addiction will reduce. And that is what you can call middle path. But we are not saying that you renounce because nobody will renounce. It is impossibility. But we are saying, okay, whatever you are doing, just enter through whatever you are doing.
Yeah.
And that will bring, because this body contains all that pleasure through the neurochemistry, through that energy.
And I mean, we need that energy
Yes.
to be able to experience a higher form of transformation. You need energy.
That's right.
And if we're not putting ourselves in a comfortable situation where we're going to have a hard time experiencing or having the energy to do that. So if we're struggling, getting rid of our stuff and then putting ourselves into a struggle, we're going to start just trying to survive, and our energy shifts and focuses. Would that be correct?
That will be correct, because the way we created the whole world and society, we cannot survive comfortably until we earn X amount of wealth. Because, the whole structure of this society, even if I want to withdraw, it will be very difficult. I will struggle. And if I'm so passionate, if I'm so motivated, I'm not talking about those small number. I'm talking about the general society.
Yeah.
That we want to bring that potentiality, that joy, that celebration, that peak life for common people. So Soma Path is actually people's program. It is not for those elites who are highly motivated. We are talking about general population. So that we have to be very aware. That is why we say for all age, ability, and body types. Because a lot of these programs in the past were made for certain elite who lived, secluded life, and they became teachers. Here we are saying that there is no authority, there are no elites really. It is for everyone.
To prepare ourselves to enter into this, or to start experiencing a path of Soma, we use the material world around us
Yes.
to create a calm experience
Yes,
to be able to practice this and accept the things that we have.
exactly.
How far can this actually take us?
I mean, once we get the glimpse that even in the middle of all this chaos of life, my work and whatever is going on, I can access myself. That will be a breakthrough. And that is the purpose of all our practices, including personality. So some people will stop at that. Okay, I'm quite happy, I'm doing my work free from stress and so on and so forth. Some will be more motivated. I want to go into my personality and I want to be very creative and I want to, celebrate more. And that is the second part. Third one will say, no, I really want to come to my somatic self, where I want to live in complete harmony, freedom from guilt, trauma, and so on and so forth. Others one will be even higher. So the baseline will be that, everybody will have access to it. Some of them will go up, some of them higher. So it's a pyramid.
And each stage is some form of transformation.
Of course.
Like, so when we talk about transformation and these things, it's not like we're renunciating and everything, and because we're about materialism, meaning we're about what we're experiencing in the physical body, and that stage of transformation is just due to how we are living.
Exactly. That is why for us, transformation or enlightenment or liberation is not a point. It is a process. And in that process, there are multiple points.
Can Soma path still take us to the point to reach life's peak potential or liberation?
Exactly. It will. The reason I said, whatever truth or essence is, it is present in everything, from matter to this body to the highest. Because matter and body is merely one color on this whole spectrum. So either I can enter into that highest potential through matter and the body, or through emotions, or through thought, or whatever else is there. There is no difference. Yes. This path, which opened the door into scientific and economic materialism, will take us there. And if you really look, if you read about Soma path, we go through cell stages. But that stage is set at the matter and the body. Absolutely, yes.
Referring to peak potential, for myself, when I got into the practice of Soma, peak potential had, I guess, its own kind of stage and at a point of this in my life. So I wasn't looking at trying to go to this liberation peak potential. It was like a threshold for me. And it was, okay, well, what's Matt's peak potential at this point of my life? How much energy and how much thrill and how much love can I bring into my life in this moment, and not going beyond that?
Right.
Is that making sense? Is there a point of that?
Yes, of course, because, what happens as you walk the path, you will experience something. For a moment, you will feel that, okay, maybe I arrived. But then you realize this point becomes platform for another leap. And then you come to that, and then you realize, no, another. Because these things are self-evident and there is no end point. Because if there is an end point, means this is finite.
Right.
But the fundamental nature of it is infinite, unconditional. But what happens at you reach a specific point, you have a contentment, okay, with lot of energy. So you keep on going, but your fundamental life is full of that joy, of that celebration. So whatever addition comes, it is bonus, but you are basically fulfilled at one level. That is what happens. So again, to summarize it, you will go, and in this moment you will realize something, and you think it's okay, everything, but no, you keep on going endlessly.
It's just a journey of
It's it, forever journey.
experiencing and aha moments.
Aha moment. And whatever will happen, you will bring to other people then. So journey will never end. And in that process, you will have more insight, more wholeness. And you keep on going.
I'd like to, if you could sum up again, just the Soma's path or vision or view of materialism, and just elaborate again a little bit on how we can meet people where they're at with Soma.
Exactly. So as I stated clearly that for the last almost 200 years, we entered into era or age of quite visible, serious materialism. And materialism simply means scientific materialism because they don't believe into spirit, soul, and God or other world life. And second part of the materialism is economic materialism, that everybody wants to be comfortable, they want to have pleasure individually. This is visible all over the world. So we cannot stop that flow, right? Even if we want. So that is why a lot of older tradition, they are becoming less relevant. They are still therapeutic to some people. But in Soma path, this materialism is the part of the manifestation and expression of the same ultimate truth. Mm-hmm. So this is not something completely disconnected. Only thing is that we have to open the door through this materialism. Whether it's scientific materialism or my body or people who want more comfort, more pleasure. So we don't say to them, renounce this. We don't say science is wrong. No. We say it's expression of the same thing in last 200 years and in 21st century. And we have a way to ride the wave and still reach the same truth through this. And that truth is endless. It has hundreds, millions, I don't know how many points. That is what Soma path is.
Experiencing life.
Totality of life
and enjoying it.
Totally celebrating. Creative.
And you mentioned a lot that it's not religious. And so people coming from different religions, you keep your religion. You keep what is meaningful for you.
Of course. Soma path will never reject anything. We are non-religious. And for us, common ground is the body, which possessed by all living beings, and also science. But we never condemn, we never reject any religion, any faith, any belief, because this is up to people. That is why it's a very individualistic path. If it helps them, they should never leave it.
And Soma would probably only enhance that for them.
Oh, yes. So you do whatever you want if it helps you. Mm-hmm. So it is a path through materialism to reach the ultimate.
To learn more about our teachings, courses, and community, visit somapath.org.